I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know how it's gonna go. It could go either way.
Yeah, dude, those peptides, they don't work at all, man. They certainly don't make you tan.
Just remember, when you use MT2, you may get a little red, but that's completely fine. Like right now, I look like a tomato, but I'm gonna be super tan after this.
Bro, holy shit, what did I just take, bro? My face on Melanotan II, brutal reddening, bro. Holy shit. I know, I heard about this, but yo, this is kind of scary, but it's kind of exciting too. It means it's working, but, and I feel like throwing up, but.
This is a warning for anybody that's going to use MT2. I got these freckles, the ones on my nose, the ones on my cheeks over here, all about 8 months ago, and I don't use MT2 anymore. And they don't go away. Look, you could even see one right here. They don't go away. So if you're going to be using MT2, just be aware that you're probably going to get freckles that you didn't have, and they might not go away.
Besides the side effect of getting absolutely tanned on Melanotan II, I didn't really believe about the freckles until, where are all these from? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Bro, that's just my face. You used to see my... No, I'm joking. But the freckles appearing on Melanotan II is a real thing.
Somebody that has been pale and heavily freckled my entire life, it is a very bad idea to inject yourself with random substances from the internet to get tanner. I guess a lot of people don't know this, but freckles and moles can cause cancer, and they do cause cancer. So if you're taking MT2 to get tanner and you start getting a bunch of freckles and moles when you didn't have them before, you need to start getting checked for melanoma. And it's very possible you're gonna have to get those spots that you didn't have before cut out of your body. And then you'll have scars for the rest of your life where you didn't before, because they have to cut it deep and they have to cut a wide area to make sure that it doesn't grow back. Every person I know that gets spots on their skin naturally has had to have something removed at one point or another. And by taking MT2 to get tanner, and then developing a bunch of moles and freckles where you didn't have them before, you are signing up for that. You are signing up for something that you would not have had to deal with otherwise. Another thing about moles and freckles is they can be perfectly fine, perfectly normal, perfectly healthy for months or even years, and then all of a sudden turn cancerous. So if you're doing this and you're getting a bunch of moles all of a sudden, you are signing up for the rest of your life to have to get checked for melanoma and to have them get cut out of your skin.
This is the tan I have currently after 13 doses of Melanotan II, the tanning peptide. So far, this is my experience. I've noticed appetite suppression. I've gotten darker. My libido's gone up. My moles and freckles have gotten darker. That's to be expected. I don't notice any new ones, but that's not to say that there isn't.
Melanotan II is an unlicensed, unregulated peptide that is an analog that stimulates alpha melanocyte stimulating hormone.
This is my own research. Always consult a healthcare provider before making any medical decisions for yourself.
All right, I'm gonna throw on my glasses here, guys. I'm using open evidence, which is basically our doctor-related AI research tool that we use that you can only get into if you have an MPI number. Are there risks to using this? And here's what we got. There are multiple documented and potential risks spanning dermatological, systemic, cardiovascular, and infectious disease categories. Multiple national health organizations have issued warnings. So some of those things are, obviously, we're worried about melanoma, right? Because we're stimulating the melanin. And so this is the most clinically concerning thing, it says. Eruptive and dysplastic nevi. So he said he didn't have any new spots, but if you do have spots or new spots, you could basically be stimulating a melanoma or a skin cancer. So listen, the idea that I wanted you guys all to walk away with here is that peptides are not totally benign. You should not, as he said, just treat yourself with some of these peptides. There are drawbacks to peptides, and you can see clearly in this one that we all are worried about things like melanoma. And there are clearly other things besides melanoma that we have to worry about. So be careful.
I won't lie, the reason I no longer use Melanotan is because I had melanoma removed several times, and obviously this isn't purely down to Melanotan, it is largely to do with abusing sunbeds in my younger days, not being very smart about looking after my skin and my skin health and stuff like that as well. But the dermatologist did say that obviously the Melanotan II did play a factor. Is once I started using large doses of that very often is when my pigment started to change drastically. My freckles turned into moles very quickly, started to turn dark and look a bit alarming. But at the time, all I cared about was my tan, and then obviously later in life, a few years later, it did catch up with me, and I did have to have, I think I've had about 12 bits removed from me in total. So I no longer use Melanotan, and that is why, troops. So just be careful, keep an eye on your moles. There's a wee, whatever it's called, the border, the shape, if you can feel it, the texture, or something like that. These are all things you might keep an eye on when it comes to your moles. So please be smart, do your research, don't be daft, don't abuse it, and stay safe.
There's a peptide that some people are using to get a tan without ever stepping into the sun. It's called Melanotan II, or MT2 for short, and it's become a quiet trend in tanning communities and bodybuilding forums. But it's not sunscreen, and it's not a supplement. It's a synthetic hormone analog that was never approved for this use. So what exactly is it, and why do people use it, and what should you actually know before you go looking into it? Melanotan II, or MT2, is a synthetic peptide that mimics a hormone your body already makes, alpha melanocyte stimulating hormone, or alpha MSH. That hormone is part of what tells your skin cells, called melanocytes, to produce more melanin, the pigment responsible for skin, hair, and eye color. Normally, melanin production ramps up when your skin is exposed to UV light. That's what a tan actually is, your body's defense response to sun damage. MT2 works differently. It stimulates the same melanin-producing pathway directly through the melanocortin receptors without needing UV exposure to trigger it. It was originally developed in the 1980s by researchers at the University of Arizona, who are investigating it as a potential treatment for skin cancer prevention and photoprotection. It was never approved by the FDA or any major regulatory body for cosmetic tanning, or for any use actually. What circulates today is produced and sold as a research chemical, which is a legal gray zone that means it isn't regulated, tested, or quality controlled the way an approved drug would be. But before we proceed, let me play you a few more clips, and then I'll be back with more commentary. All credit goes to the creators of these videos. You'll find all their handles in my description box, so go give them some support.
I take MT2 and it definitely changed my eye color. Just look how bright my eyes are now. My eyes have always been green, but I feel like they've never been this type of green. It's actually kind of nuts. MT2 definitely made my eyes way brighter.
Okay, so a lot of people say that MT2 gives them like dark eyes, and personally I am dealing with that. I'm kind of hoping it'll just like even itself out, but they have been getting kind of dark like compared to usual. As you can see, freckle wise, I already had freckles before, so it's just kind of darkening them a little bit, which I don't mind that at all. I like my freckles, so yeah, I don't care about that. But the eyes though, I am hoping that I can fix that.
Somebody asked me if MT2 works, the tanning.
Let me be very clear. This is a bad idea. Not only does it not look good, and I don't even mean that in a critical way, I mean that in the skin does not look healthy, it also increases your risk of melanoma. I feel like every other day there's a new trend that makes my job as a dermatologist harder to help protect you, but also to help you looking your best and having the healthiest skin possible. Do not try Melanotan. And also there are some people who are saying, I changed races by using Melanotan. No, you didn't. That's offensive to suggest so.
Oh, and you will never see me on MT2. No way. Just damage your skin the old-fashioned way if you're gonna do that, because at this point, the amount of like melanoma risk that you can get from it, like, it's not worth it in my opinion. Because I'm a big like fan of being like, do the research, but like people, like especially like other peptide people on TikTok will like just make up bullshit about it. It's just not good for you. Don't do MT2. It looks like shit. Everyone can tell that you're on MT2 because the back of your fingers are also tan. It looks like someone smeared some peanut butter vaguely all over you. I promise you that your natural skin color looks better than MT2.
Update on my MT2 journey. You can definitely see my freckles through my foundation. I still feel pretty light. I'm kind of getting this like veiny look, if you can see that in the camera, I don't know. I've only done it 2 or 3 times, and only when the weather's been really nice and sunny. Otherwise we've been rainy or snowing or tornadoes, so I haven't had a whole lot of outside time, but definitely my freckles are a lot more pronounced. So I'm going to keep at it when the weather is nice and see if I can get a little bit of a color for at least summertime. Okay.
I really started taking MT2 when I got back, thinking I was going to be able to tan like in my little bikini outside, because I checked the UV and it was supposed to be like UV of 6 to 8. It's 50 degrees outside right now. I'm in a full hoodie and sweatpants and I'm cold. So yes, it's sunny, but like, do I freeze and just wear a little bikini and tan? That's the real question. I might have to, because like, I'm not getting cancer for nothing.
Okay, so when I first started the tanning pep, MT2, I had heard that it may help with arousal. As you can see, I just pinned it and I'm all red, but I heard that it may help with arousal and, things like that. But I didn't know I was going to be bricked up for 5 hours straight every day. And I was taking tadalafil.
If you're someone who still thinks MT2 is the best pep for tanning, let me put you on some game, okay? What if I told you there was a pep out there that not only had better coloring, it wasn't gonna darken your moles, you weren't gonna feel nauseous, you weren't gonna throw up, you weren't gonna get any side effects, it doesn't stimulate the exact same cells that become melanoma like MT2 does. What if I told you a pep out there exists? Oh wait, it does. It's called MT1. Doesn't hit as many pathways, it's not as strong. The tan I have right now, that's an MT1 tan, baby. That's plenty dark. No sides, doesn't stimulate the exact same cells that become melanoma, which is a form of skin cancer for you guys that don't know. Much more safer to use long term. You look better, you feel better, you're safer. It's a no-brainer. If you're on MT2 right now, you need a switch. Trust me, not only for your looks, but for your health.
So let me get this straight. People are now injecting themselves with a peptide called MT2 to get the exact same brown skin that women have been told to bleach off their bodies for centuries. Someone make that make sense. And here's the part that we should all be concerned about. MT2 is a synthetic version of a hormone that tells your body to produce more melanin. It's not FDA approved, not for tanning, not for anything. So what people are injecting is unregulated. No oversight on the purity, no oversight on the dose. And the side effects, I'm talking nausea, blood pressure changes, and here's the most concerning one. It darkens your moles and can change them. And dermatologists have flagged that because changing moles are exactly what to look out for with skin cancer. People are risking that for melanin. For melanin, we were told to hide. Here's what I know. My grandmother stayed out of the sun. My mother was handed Fair and Lovely before she was handed a diploma. We were told to marry someone with more fair skin. We were told to wear lighter colored makeup. We were told to never let melanin win. A whole industry was built around convincing brown women that the skin we were born in needed to be changed. And now it's a needle. It's a trend. It's a vial with no FDA approval. But let me tell you something that the marketing team won't. The brown skin was never the deviation. The brown skin has always been the standard. We have been glowing in the sun while the world told us to hide it. So let me be clear about what's happening here. The same skin you sold us creams to erase, you're buying needles to fake. The brown skin girls didn't change. The story did.
I talk about the tanning peptide a lot on this page, and the reason why is because I am pasty and I'm a spray tan queen and I'm tired of it, okay? But there are two different tanning peptides and people mix them up. MT1 is only for tanning. MT2 is for tanning, libido, and appetite. MT1 is a bronze tan. MT2 is more of an orange tan. MT1 has little to no side effects. MT2 has a lot more side effects, some of them including creating dark spots and freckles and stuff like that. MT1 does not. MT1 can also have like grounding, neurological, calming effects. It helps me with my anxiety, especially during my luteal phase of my period. MT2 affects the MC1, the MC3, the MC4, and the MC5 brain receptors. I use MT1. It is, I think, like $7 more on my website because I'm using it for tanning. Now, the added benefit of MT1 and MT2 is that it does give you like the natural sunscreen from the inside out effect. So it blocks the harmful rays in your body. They both tell your body to create more melanin, which therefore makes you more tan. But I am was not interested in the side effects that can come with MT2. Now, there are people that prefer MT2 over MT1, but if you're just looking for just tanning and maybe some like additional mood nootropic like benefits, MT1 is your friend. If you're looking for like libido boost and appetite suppression along with tanning, then MT2 might be your bestie, but just keep in mind she has harsher side effects.
I will never use MT2 again, and I'll tell you why. I feel like MT2 gives you like that spray tan, sort of overly tanned look. MT1, which I've been on now for a month, gives you more like, or for me, gives me this like summery, European, tanned, even skin tone. I'm obsessed. I actually don't think I'll ever use MT2 again.
Feeling nauseous after you take MT2, here's why this happens, so make sure to save this video. I'm gonna go over everything. Feeling nauseous after you take MT2 is very common. You're also gonna experience your face turning red for about 5 to 10 minutes. This is called flush. This happens because MT2 activates melanocortin throughout the body, not those just involved in skin pigmentation. Some of these receptors are involved in regulating appetite and also influences the brain's nausea pathways. This is why some people feel queasy, especially after their first dose. This is very common while taking MT2. It is.
If you're wondering, obviously I'm getting MT2 side effects, how to combat them, like get rid of them or even make them feel less. Number one would definitely be to take it on a night. So take it before you go to bed, then obviously whatever side effects you do get, you'll sleep straight through. Number two would be if you don't obviously do that, I would say for me personally, I take all of my clothes off and I'll just sit nice and cool. Like, don't be sat like in heat or anything like that, or have like a hot bath. Like, just be nice and cool, have some water, get yourself something nice and light to eat. I generally have like, I don't know, maybe like half a sandwich or something like that, just to like have something on my stomach. I definitely feel like it always helps to have something on your stomach.
Found out that apparently white people are taking a drug called MT2 that is making them darker and appear black. First of all, happy Mother's Day. I'm sorry, I just woke up and I got to scrolling and I am just never ceased to be amazed. They're taking fake melanin. Apparently it's like really dangerous and it can cause you to have moles and possibly like hyperpigmentation. I haven't done a deep enough dive on this because I just found out, but I have to let you know.
Let me get this straight. Y'all are taking peptides for the tan. These spray tans are not even real. I thought these were all spray tans, bro. Y'all are taking an unapproved MT2 peptide just to look like me. Y'all could have asked me if you wanted to look like me. I would have put y'all on game. I love putting people on game. It's really not that hard. And the worst part is it looks like absolute dog shit, bro. Y'all for real need to make some darker friends because they would be the first to tell you it looks like fucking trash.
The appeal is pretty straightforward. People use MT2 because it can produce a tan-like darkening of the skin without extended sun exposure, which some see as a way to reduce UV damage while still getting the cosmetic look of a tan. It's popular among people who tan easily but want a deeper, faster result. People who don't tan well naturally and want a change, and people trying to reduce sunburn risk on vacations or before events. Beyond tanning, some users report other effects tied to the same hormonal pathway MT2 activates, including appetite suppression and increased libido. That's actually part of the same melanocortin system, which is why MT2 has picked up interest outside of just the tanning community. That crossover interest is part of why it's more widely known today than it might otherwise be. MT2 is most commonly used as a subcutaneous injection, meaning it's injected just under the skin. Similar to how insulin is administered, it's not a cream, a pill, or a spray. Even though those forms are sometimes marketed, the peptide comes as a freeze-dried up powder that has to be reinstituted with sterile water before use. I'm not going to walk you through dosing or injection specifics here. That's genuinely something that should come from a doctor, not a YouTube video, especially for a substance that isn't regulated or standardized. What's worth knowing at a high level is that because it's sold as a research chemical rather than a pharmaceutical, purity, concentration, and sterility can vary a lot between suppliers, and that variability is a big part of the risk conversation, which we'll get into next. Because MT2 has never gone through formal clinical trials or regulatory approval, there's no official safety profile, no established dosing, no long-term studies, and no quality control standard for what's actually in the vial you're buying. Commonly reported side effects include nausea, especially with early use, flushing of the skin, appetite changes, and darkening of freckles or moles. The last part is worth pausing on, because MT2 stimulates melanocyte activity broadly. It can cause existing moles to darken, change shape, or new ones to appear. And this is where the melanoma conversation comes in. Melanocytes are the stem cells that, when they grow abnormally, cause melanoma, the most dangerous form of skin cancer. Because MT2 directly stimulates these cells, dermatologists and researchers have raised concern about a possible link between MT2 use and melanoma risk. There have been individual case reports in medical literature describing new or changing moles, including some diagnosed as melanoma in people using MT2, though it's worth being precise here. This is based on case reports and expert concern rather than large-scale controlled long-term studies, since MT2 was never approved or hasn't gone through the kind of trials that would establish a clear causal risk level. And that uncertainty itself is part of the concern. Nobody can currently tell you the actual odds. And on top of the cancer risk question, the pigment changes MT2 causes can also make it visually harder to tell a normal mole change from a dangerous one, which matters because early detection is one of the biggest factors in melanoma survival. Dermatologists generally recommend that anyone using MT2 get regular skin checks specifically because of this. There's also a somewhat counterintuitive risk. MT2 does not make skin immune to UV damage. It darkens skin through a different mechanism than a natural tan. But the skin can still burn, and DNA damage from UV exposure can still occur underneath that darker pigment. So the idea of it as a way to avoid sun damage doesn't fully hold up. Some users still combine MT2 with sun exposure to enhance the tanning effect, which sort of defeats the protective argument. And because it's unregulated, quality control and injection practices are also part of the picture. Non-sterile preparation or reused equipment can carry its own risks, separate from the compound itself. Legally, MT2 sits in a gray area in a lot of places. In the US, it's not FDA approved for any use, but it's not classified as a controlled substance either. It's typically sold labeled for research purposes only, which is a common workaround sellers use to stay outside pharmaceutical regulation. And some countries have taken a harder line and restricted its sale or import more directly. If you're looking into it, the legal status genuinely depends on where you live, so it's worth checking local regulations rather than assuming. So that's MT2, a peptide that can produce real, visible tanning effects by working through the same biological pathway as natural sun-triggered melanin production, but one that comes without regulatory approval, without standardized dosing, and without long-term safety data. Whether that trade-offs make sense is really a personal and honestly medical decision, not something to take from a forum thread or a video. The melanoma question in particular is one you want a dermatologist weighing in on, not a comment section. If you're already using MT2 or considering it, regular skin checks aren't optional. They're the one thing that can catch a problem early.
Not medical advice, but I took MT2 and GHK an hour ago. Only side effect I've experienced from either of them is flushing and a little bit of redness, mostly in the face, but GHK did not burn going in. Just wait till it gets room temperature, and it worked out pretty well.
If you made it this far, I appreciate you watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. Creators' handles are in the description box below. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.